Hello, everybody, and today I want to talk about an issue I've been seeing in the gaming community for quite some time now, and that is people who think that everything is just quote unquote woke. And I think these people have just been confusing woke for having a good story, because a lot of them use games with a atrocious story with the most one-dimensional characters ever as examples for good games. And I just want to real quick take a look at this video called Who Killed Masculinity in Gaming, as I think it will lead to a lot of my talking points, and the actual video in general just represents everything bad about the gaming community, as this video is just hateful and seems to be made by a neo-Nazi. Quite frankly, he seems to hate everybody who isn't himself. And while he does come across as a neo-Nazi and incredibly misinformed when it comes to, well, everything, this video was not made to harass him or single him out, as the points he makes have been made by many people, and I want this video to be more about my problems with the gaming community as a whole as with this guy. I'm just using him as a representation for the gaming community as a whole. Also, I just want to thank Pyrocynical for reacting to this video, as I'll use a lot of his points that he made in his video, and his video will be linked down below, not the asshole who made the original video, as he does not deserve any attention, as bigots like him are the reason that people like Andrew Tate are popular. So with that said, let's get a start on this video.
Does anybody else feel like masculinity has slowly been drained from modern video games?
I find it hilarious that all he shows are two multiplayer games. Like, how about instead of complaining this guy actually plays a game of substance?
I was looking at recent staff photos of Ubisoft and Halo Infinite developers, and it's all starting to make sense. It's a bunch of fat white liberal women. And white liberal women have no interest in masculine, manly, male characters. They wouldn't even know how to write one if they tried.
I guarantee these two images were for some sort of National Women's Day thing or something, because game developers aren't the problem, it's the greedy executives that are. And they don't really seem like liberal white women to me. They seem like rich millionaire conservatives that want nothing more than money.
This is why Rockstar, a company founded by men that at least in 2018 was still mostly run by men, created the magnum opus Red Dead Redemption 2, a game with a manly, well-written main protagonist, Arthur Morgan.
I agree, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, but the whole story is about how living this quote-unquote masculine lifestyle leads to sad, miserable people who do not feel as if they've done anything in life. The main character, Arthur Morgan, lives this quote-unquote masculine lifestyle for part of the game, but upon being diagnosed with a illness that basically gives him a death sentence, he stops living this quote-unquote masculine lifestyle and starts to try to leave something behind in life that would actually paint him as a good person. I think this whole game story went over this guy's head.
If you want to see the seismic shift away from masculine characters, honestly, all you need to do is play a few games from 2006, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Consider how many masculine military games came out in the 2000s. Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Brothers in Arms, Gears of War, Operation Flashpoint, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. All of these games were starring men and had themes like brotherhood, duty, sacrifice, honor.
Do you know what else is similar about these games? None of them have good stories. They're all just these stupid shooters that are full of just shooting galleries. And I don't know what this guy's trying to say by saying these games no longer exist. Call of Duty remains one of the most popular video game franchises, and Rainbow Six Siege has a live service game that remains to be incredibly popular and pulling a lot of revenue.
Almost all of these franchises have either been killed off, turned into multiplayer games, or went woke. I often wonder why so few modern games appeal to me, and I think another big reason is this. Everything is just so gay now. Compare the games I just mentioned to the modern trash we have to deal with in Overwatch and Apex.
I think this guy thinks that anything with actual style is gay, as he wants all games to be these shooters with characters that have no personality and gray color grading with the same environments, rather than something that has actual style and isn't the same as everything else.
Almost every character in these new games is either gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or something else. Like, what happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm?
I think this guy doesn't know what a story is. He wants Duke Nukem, which is one of the worst and most substanceless video games franchises ever made, back. Like, seriously, this makes zero sense. There's nothing deep in quote-unquote masculine games. There's just a bunch of substanceless shooting galleries. This is the type of guy to have this as his favorite section on Letterboxd. By the way, follow me on Letterboxd, link in the description. A shameless plug there, but
I love the idea of Xbox Game Pass, but I swear every time I open it up and look for new games...
Of course this guy is getting mad at a small tab about like, can you be any more just annoying? It's a little box that you can ignore, and it's cool for people who would actually be interested in checking that stuff out.
There's just so many games that look gay now. I refuse to play another cutesy 2D platformer or a game with a cutesy art style by some indie developer anymore. I'm just done with these games.
Well, that's because most indie games are actually kind of gay, because a lot of indie developers are, and guess what? Indie games are the best type of game. You want to know why? Because they have actual passion put into them. And this guy doesn't realize that the real reason why the gaming industry is failing is because of the low amount of passion put into the games.
If you want my 100% real thoughts on this, I just think the entire video game industry has gone woke and gay, and almost nothing they're making appeals to me in any way. So this is why I mostly play 20-year-old games on my channel, because they were just better. I was recently reading an insider interview about what went down at Volition Studios with the disastrous Saints Row reboot.
The Saints Row remake wasn't bad because it was woke, it was bad because the character and stories suck. And that had nothing to do with any of the actually good messages that the game was trying to tell. Also, hasn't Saints Row always had quote-unquote woke messages and stuff like that in their games?
From an inside source. This source said that the LGBTQ community within the company was actually pretty small, but they're the loudest and the most annoying, and the company leadership chose to promote these people into key roles. And that's how you get the absolute dumpster fire of a game that was Saints Row 2022. I think what you have at a lot of these game studios is about 80% of the staff is probably just hetero dudes trying to do their job, but they're afraid of speaking up or saying what they actually think, and then you have the LGBTQ folks making decisions about what kind of game to make.
Well, no. Maybe the hetero dudes that work at these companies aren't conservative assholes like you. I don't think he's taking into consideration that maybe there are people who aren't neo-Nazis in this world. Also, of course he uses that image to represent LGBTQ people. I feel like anyone who uses that image in their video should have their opinions immediately disregarded. I also like how they use her to be like, oh, look how offended the left got when their candidate didn't win, when I mean, look at what the right did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure raiding the Capitol is a whole lot worse. And I mean, if you watch the original video, what the person actually says in the video is actually understandable.
And everything just ends up being safe and soft and sensitive because, oh, we can't hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, it sure seemed to hurt this guy's feelings.
So, of course, you get these shitty dumpster fire video games that nobody wants to play. After reading a lot of insider interviews with these developers, this is my sense of what has been happening. I also feel like there's this kind of unholy alliance right now between game journalists, white liberal women at game studios, and the LGBTQ community at game studios. And they all seem to be united around one thing. They actually hate gamers. And who are gamers overwhelmingly? Well, heterosexual dudes like us, of course.
I would actually beg to differ. Almost every trans or gay people I know, or even know of, like video games. That's not to say that there are no straight men who like play video games, but I'm just saying there are a lot of people on the other side who play them too. If gaming hates men, why do protagonists continue to be overwhelmingly men? I mean, this guy makes no sense. If gaming industry really was like, oh, I hate men and all that, then why does almost every game have them as their main protagonist?
This recent Reddit thread was written by an actual game developer and made me realize this. It reads, headline,
Am I allowed to say this? I kinda hate gamers. I'm a professional game designer and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cis-het white man appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI. Every game that wasn't a shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered zzz and boring comments. I've seen people implying that the MC in Fable trailers is ugly because it's a self-insert of some random level designer working at Playground whom they deemed not fuckable enough. I don't know, it's just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess, doing what it does best. But it's making me real tired of gamers.
I mean, the Reddit post had a point. I mean, a lot of the loudest people who play games are cuckold morons like this guy.
So at this point, it seems that games journalists and all of the liberal LGBT mafia that work at game studios actually hate their audience. And this is a comment I keep reading from you guys again and again. I swear they literally hate us. They seem to be dead set on giving their audience exactly what we don't want. How long is your business going to be open if you're dead set on not giving the customer what they want?
I mean, I think they give most people who play games what they want, and then there's indie games, which is one other thing that's also amazing. To use his store example, the Walmart gives a lot of people what they want, and the people who it doesn't go to the local businesses that have more tender, loving care put into them. And then there's this guy who just sits and complains about it either way.
This is why when skanks like Elizabeth Conte are crying about their coffee shutting down and losing their jobs, and game studios are going under because they were associated with Sweet Baby Inc. I just laugh. Let them burn. Let all these companies burn who don't know how to get the wonderful irony in all this is that it's the very games that the woke cancel mob has tried to cancel that seem to do the best.
I mean, I will admit this guy does have a point here. I do think controversy does lead to success, which I do also think is a pretty big problem.
Remember Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah, men who dress in women's clothes tried to get it canceled. Instead, the game sold 25 million copies. Oops. Remember Elden Ring? Remember how the woke mob tried to accuse FromSoft games of having, quote, problematic depictions of women? Oops. Sold 25 million copies.
No, I don't remember it because I don't think it happened. This is just some random issue that some guy saw one article complain about.
At this point, making an offensive game seems to guarantee that game's success. We could talk about Stellar Blade, pissing off all of the liberal progressives, and yet everybody went out and bought it.
Again, I don't think that ever happened. Maybe it happened in an article, but it wasn't a widespread thing.
Okay, so in the rest of this video, I want to give you 4 examples of a game or game series going from masculine to feminine or gay, and it basically either killed or ruined the franchise. Number 1, Ubisoft and Red Storm Entertainment. So Red Storm Entertainment was a video game company founded by the legendary Tom Clancy to make Tom Clancy video games. He sold the company to Ubisoft in the year 2000, and Ubisoft in the 2000s actually had some balls and made some of the manliest games you've ever seen. There were the Splinter Cell games, the Ghost Recon games, the Rainbow Six games, and the Far Cry games.
Yeah, they also sucked and had zero story, which is even more proof that games are like 10 times better now, but this guy just calls them woke for having characters that aren't just smash, smash, smash. Like, this guy probably calls the new God of War games woke because Kratos has feelings now.
All these games pretty much feature exclusively men, and these IPs in the 2000s had so much testosterone just a single glance from a woman in the direction will get her pregnant. I mean, motherfucking Sam Fisher, come on. The dude is the ultimate Giga Chad. Scott Mitchell in Ghost Recon. Now you pick your own character in Far Cry 2, but it's definitely a manly game that will put hair on your chest. So what is Red Storm Entertainment up to today? Well, I recently saw that Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland is being led by a man who dresses in women's clothes in his free time.
I mean, who cares? Like, the few, like, femboys or whatever that I've met over Discord have been incredibly kind and nice. Same for, like, not feminine, but not super masculine dudes have also been super nice to me. Yeah, most of them are my friends. I don't think I've ever met, like, anybody who's, like, really like that, who has been, like, a dick. I've met plenty of, like, super uber masculine dudes that have been, like, total jerk-offs. I'm not saying all of them, but I've met a lot of them that are. But yeah, not saying all of them.
Now look, I don't give a shit if you identify as a dragon and go around laying magic eggs, but can we agree that the least masculine thing on earth you can do is dress in women's clothes? Tom Clancy would be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew the absolute disaster that Red Storm Entertainment had become. Number 2, Wolfenstein. So I was recently playing Wolfenstein: New Order for the first time, which came out in 2014, and I have to say, all the games I was sure were going to avoid woke Western progressivism, this game was pretty high up there. The first 3 entries of the reboot were all fantastic. They had the badass BJ Blazkowicz, an absolute unit as the main character, ripping apart entire armies of Nazis with the sexy and smart Anya as his arm candy and wife. Machine Game's first 3 Wolfenstein entries, which came out in 2014, 2015, and 2017, are all great. They have normal men and women doing normal shit in them. Awesome. But of course, the woke mob had to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved tough male manly main character. Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with cringy girl boss characters? Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2019 and it's an absolute tone deaf disaster. So many modern video games I find myself asking, who wanted this? Who asked for this? I often ask the same thing of the new Star Wars shows by Kathleen Kennedy as well. But Wolfenstein Reboot had the perfect synergy of story and gameplay. You're BJ Blazkowicz unleashing his rage on the Nazis for killing everyone he loved. You see this come across in his brutal assassinations, like sticking a rusty pipe through the eye socket of an SS Waffen commander. But the setup to Wolfenstein Youngblood is incredibly cringe. In it, you play as BJ's daughters, and they're honestly nothing like him. The first time you kill somebody, they don't really want to do it, and when they finally kill the guy, they have to have lattes and talk about it afterwards.
Oh my god, a game that tries to actually have a story, and it's not like killing somebody is like a big part of somebody's life if it happens to them, and it's not like it's a big thing with morality. How could characters not want to kill somebody? Oh my god, that's so surprising. I can't believe it.
Youngblood is a perfect example of how a cutscene can go so wrong in a game. BJ's setup is perfect and explains to you why you're doing the actions you're doing. BJ's daughters, however, are acting like they're in an episode of Big Bang Theory the whole time. Like, oh yeah, they just have to be killing Nazis and haha, isn't this so funny? It's totally all over the place and just so full of cringy and awful cinematics, which is ironic because the cinematics in the first 3 games were like so good and short, and they got to the point and they were really emotional and impactful. Example number 3, Gears of War. For a full explanation of how a woke mob girl boss Gears of War, see my video on that game, but I'll keep this short. The first 3 Gears games are incredible trilogy focusing on the bonds and brotherhood between men. They're incredibly masculine games, focusing on duty and sacrifice and military orders. And I know some of you hate this, but for 10,000 years, it's only been men fighting wars. Sorry. The first 3 games focus on Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird and tell a masculine story of brotherhood. Well, the progressive woke mob somehow got to Gears of War, and Gears 4 and 5 are about sisterhood, motherhood, being a traitor, and what it feels like to be a woman.
Again, oh no, I can't believe that story would go into a different direction and not be repetitive. I can't believe it. I'm pretty sure this guy is just a lobotomite who can't comprehend any story other than some sex simulator where you kill somebody and then beat your chest while looking at porn. Pretty sure that's all this guy wants out of a game because he can't comprehend what a story is. And that's really just the whole video. This guy proving he cannot comprehend story. And the one he did praise, he completely missed the point of. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. If you're wondering about the Alabasta video, I'm actually going to do it in a different order from now. Next video I'm going to do Alabasta to Thriller Bark, and then I'll do Sapodi Archipelago to Fishman Island, and then I'll do the rest. So I just wanted to talk about this. See you.